Chapter 174. Why are you here? Baya asked in surprise, rubbing her wet hair with a towel. Gu Lingqing got up, took the towel from her hand and dried her hair for her. He said in a deep voice, I asked you to send me a message. Did you ignore my words? Baya could tell that he was unhappy. She had never thought of sending him a message. She wanted to have a good rest tonight. But he was already here. If she said that she didn't want to send him a message, wouldn't she die faster? I was going to send it to you after I took a shower. I smell bad. Baya found an excuse and glanced at the washroom. Do you want to take a shower too? Gu Lingqing threw the towel on the chair and looked at her. Baya pursed her lips and didn't say anything. The more she said, the more mistakes she would make. I'll believe you. Gu Lingqing walked towards the washroom. Baya watched him walk into the washroom. She invited him to take a shower just to be polite. She didn't expect Gu Lingqing to really take a shower here. He wouldn't be sleeping here tonight, would he? If Leng Qiuzuan saw it, her high-sounding words yesterday would be a slap in the face. She walked to the washroom and asked, Are you staying in this hotel too? Is your luggage here? Gu Lingqing opened the washroom door. Baya was shocked and looked into his deep eyes. What's wrong? I'm staying here tonight. My luggage is in the car. My soldiers will bring it to me later. What else do you want to ask? Gu Lingqing said generously. Well, don't you think it's inappropriate for you to stay here? It won't be good if someone finds out. After all, you have a fiancé. Baya tried to persuade him. Gu Lingqing looked down at her and her face was reflected in his eyes. I've been engaged to Su Xiaoling for more than 3 years. Do you think I'll marry her? Baya was stunned for a moment and looked at Gu Lingqing. He didn't let her see clearly as he closed the bathroom door. Baya stood firmly at the door and lowered his eyes. There was a sour and bitter feeling in his heart that flowed in his blood. The valve of memory was also opened. She used to think that Gu Lingqing loved her. Even though she knew that he raped her 6 years ago and hurt her, she could still choose to forgive him. After he lost his memory, he said, Hailan, I miss you so much. All her persistence, perseverance, hard work, and self-righteous love collapsed. The person Gu Lingqing loved the most was not her, but Zhou Hailan. That kind of heart-wrenching pain was even deeper than Su Jiran's, so much so that she lost the courage to continue living. Gu Lingqing was an unfathomable person. Even though she had studied psychology for 3 years, she still could not enter his heart. That feeling of loneliness in life and in death would never come back again. She used to love him. Even if he didn't love her back, she still hoped that he would have a good life in the future. Baya carried her luggage and walked out of the room. She asked the front desk for a new room and locked the door. Gu Lingqing came out of the room and saw that Baya was no longer there. He called her. Where are you? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. Opposite your room. I'm already asleep. Good night, Chief, Baya said coldly and hung up. She took out a pill from her bag, took one, and fell asleep as soon as she laid down. She slept for a long time. When Baya woke up, she looked at her phone. It was already 9:30 and she had a few calls. They were from Leng Qiuzuan, Gu Lingqing, and an unknown number. She went into the bathroom and brushed her teeth. After washing up, she picked up her phone and walked to the window. She opened the curtains and looked outside. Today's weather was pretty good. The sun shone brightly and warmed the body. She called the unknown number. Hello, who is it? What's up? Are you Baya? A woman's voice was filled with disbelief. It didn't feel friendly. Who are you? Baya couldn't figure out who the person was. Xiong said. Baya knew who it was. It was Su Jiran's mother. Mrs. Xiong, what's up? Baya asked calmly. You're the Mrs. Xiong said bluntly. Baya smiled. Could it be Miss Xiong? Please call me Madam, Xiong ordered in a sinister tone. Baya nodded nonchalantly. What's up? I called the psychology department. I heard that you're in charge of my brother's case. Angie's case was also solved by you. Aren't you an obstetrician? How did you become a psychologist? Xiong asked curiously. Time can change a lot of things. Professions, environments, relationships. This won't affect my work. Your brother's case is being handled by a team. It should be solved soon. Don't worry. If there's nothing else, I'll be going to work now, Baya said in a businesslike manner. Have you met Jiran? Xiong asked tentatively. Based on our current relationship, it's better not to meet him. What do you think, Mrs. Xiong? Baya asked. I hope you know that I don't like you. Xiong was straightforward. Same here. Xiong was speechless. Baya hung up. It was uncomfortable to receive such a call early in the morning. She kept her phone and placed it in her bag. She went to the front desk. Do you still have breakfast? Yes, the restaurant on the second floor. Until 10 a.m., the receptionist said with a smile. Thank you. Baya walked into the restaurant and saw Gu Lingqing right away. He saw her too. He looked at her coldly and coldly. He didn't look away and stared at her as if he was going to interrogate her. Baya looked away. She scooped some egg fried rice, 2 pieces of bacon, a piece of ham and some cabbage. She saw that Gu Lingqing was still looking at her. If she didn't sit with him he would probably flip out. She walked over nonchalantly and greeted him in a businesslike manner. Hello. Gu Lingqing nodded and looked across. Sit. Baya put down the plate. I'll get some milk and fruits. And? Gu Lingqing responded, which could be considered as consent. Baya took some watermelon and tomatoes and a glass of milk. Just as she sat down, she heard Gu Lingqing ask, Why didn't you pick up the phone? Well, I was asleep. I didn't hear it, Baya explained. She lowered her head and ate the egg fried rice. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything either. He seemed to have finished eating but didn't want to leave. She ate with fear and trepidation. Hey, you guys are quite early. Leng Qiuzuan's voice rang out. Baya thought that she woke up quite late. She didn't expect Leng Qiuzuan to wake up even later than her. Leng Qiuzuan sat down beside Gu Lingqing. He looked at Baya and asked, Why didn't you pick up my call yesterday? I was asleep. I didn't hear it, Baya explained hurriedly. You told me that you had a child yesterday. How old is the child now? Leng Qiuzuan asked immediately. Chapter 175. She told Leng Qiuzuan that she had given birth to a child, hoping that Leng Qiuzuan would stop pestering her. She didn't expect Leng Qiuzuan to ask about this in front of Gu Lingqing. It seemed like he did it on purpose. Gu Lingqing looked at her. His eyes were dark and unfathomable like a bottomless pit. She was speechless. Leng Qiuzuan smiled. You're not lying to me, are you? Baya bit the watermelon and looked at Leng Qiuzuan. She was thinking about how to answer him so that Gu Lingqing wouldn't suspect her, but at the same time he wouldn't stare at her. However, the more nervous she was, the more she couldn't think of an answer. Is Mr. Leng free? Baya avoided the question. I just want to know why you pretend to be a woman in front of me and a girl in front of another man. What's the meaning of this? Leng Qiuzuan asked sarcastically. I think Mr. Leng likes me, so I don't want to give you a chance. I found something that you can't accept, Baya said directly. What? Leng Qiuzuan was shocked. He denied it immediately. I like you? How can I like a hypocritical and pretentious woman like you? You're too imaginative. Did I misunderstand? You've been targeting me since we met. Baya looked at him suspiciously. I'm targeting you because I don't like you. If I can be mistaken for liking you, how many people would I like? Leng Qiuzuan said sarcastically. Really? Baya sounded suspicious on purpose. If I don't like someone, I'll definitely stay far away from them. I won't keep showing my existence. Besides, there aren't many people that Mr. Leng likes. Baya raised her eyebrows and smiled provocatively. Don't smile. Gu Lingqing suddenly ordered. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing with a dumbfounded look on her face. His smile is really ugly, isn't it? That, imitating others but making a fool of themselves, that's what Detective Bai is talking about, right? Leng Qiuzuan spoke up for Gu Lingqing. Take your time. I'm full. Baya picked up her bag and stood up. Gu Lingqing noticed that she hadn't eaten anything. His eyes darkened and he glanced at Leng Qiuzuan. Leng Qiuzuan was sizing up Gu Lingqing. You like her? What does it have to do with you? At 10:30, ask everyone to gather in your room. Gu Lingqing stood up. Why do we have to gather in my room instead of yours? Leng Qiuzuan stood up and disagreed. Then let's gather in the hotel's conference room. Gu Lingqing said and left without giving Leng Qiuzuan any chance to refuse. Leng Qiuzuan furrowed his eyebrows and was very displeased. This Mr. Gu is really arrogant. He saw that Baya didn't eat much at all and was too lazy to help himself, so he ate Baya's leftover food. At 10:30, Baya received the notice to gather in the conference room. She was the first to arrive and sat on her seat. Gu Lingqing walked in and placed a plastic bag in front of her. Baya looked at the plastic bag in surprise. It was the bread and cake he bought. He didn't say anything but sat opposite her and looked at her deeply. He didn't say anything, but it seemed like he said a lot. Baya was really not full. He took out a piece of bread and took a big bite. Besides the bread, he also bought a box of yogurt. Gu Lingqing was still as meticulous as before. After a while, everyone came in. Leng Qiuzuan was the last one. He saw that Baya was eating the bread, so he sat next to her and said with disdain, "You girls are really pretentious. There's a buffet breakfast but you still want to eat bread?" Baya didn't pay attention to him. "Well, we gathered everyone here to analyze the case," said Gu Lingqing's subordinate, Mr. Cheng. "The forensics department sent the information to you?" Leng Qiuzuan said unhappily. "Yes." Mr. Cheng didn't deny it. Leng Qiuzuan smiled. "That's quite a high official." He was talking about Gu Lingqing so everyone heard it. Baya really thought it was a miracle that someone like Leng Qiuzuan hadn't been killed by his enemies. "Continue," Gu Lingqing ordered. Mr. Cheng continued, "The cause of death of the first female corpse was strangled with a steel wire or something. Because the key parts were blocked with a foaming agent, we found the DNA of Xiong Jinping, Xiong Jiqing, Xiong Chang'an, and Zhang Hai. She went through chakra before she died." "Who is Zhang Hai?" Leng Qiuzuan interrupted. "One of the missing teenagers. The boy who drowned in the first glass jar," Mr. Cheng explained. Leng Qiuzuan nodded, indicating that he understood. "Whose child is the baby?" "According to the DNA comparison, the baby and Xiong Jinping are direct parent-child. He died from a fall. The baby's mother was in the same glass jar as the baby," Mr. Cheng said. "There was a secret compartment in the secret room. What did you find in the secret compartment?" Leng Qiuzuan asked immediately. "In the secret compartment we found the 3 female victims' IDs, luggage, and the diary belonging to Wang Xiahe. Wang Xiahe was the first victim in the glass jar. According to the diary, the 3 women came out to work, but they were tricked by Xiong Jinping to come here, and they were treated inhumanely. The people outside said that they could hear a woman's voice, so it should be from them. The other 2 men were the missing teenagers. According to the growth of the bones, they should have died when they were 18, which is the year they went missing. The killers are Xiong Jinping, Xiong Jiqing, and Xiong Chang'an." "How long have they been missing?" Leng Qiuzuan asked. 25 years, Mr. Cheng answered. "Oh my God, could it be a vengeful spirit?" Assistant Leng guessed. After that, she felt a chill down her spine and her face paled. "If it was a vengeful spirit, they would have died 25 years ago. They wouldn't be alive now," Baya said. "The killer should be related to the first female corpse, Wang Xiahe." Leng Qiuzuan said and looked at Baya. "They have all logged into adult websites and watched a video together. The woman in the video looks very similar to Wang Xiahe." "Mr. Leng, you've watched it?" Assistant Leng asked innocently. Leng Qiuzuan was speechless. Baya smiled. Assistant Leng's question was too good. "I'm doing it to solve a case," Leng Qiuzuan explained to Baya, his face blushing. "Oh," Baya answered, dragging the last syllable with a deeper meaning. Leng Qiuzuan's face turned even redder. He put his hand on the chair behind Baya. "Why would I lie to you? Besides, don't men look normal? Don't you?" Baya felt that he was getting too close and the question was too intimate. "Don't look away." Leng Qiuzuan leaned closer to Baya and took a deep breath. "You've seen it too, haven't you? That's why you're not surprised that I'm telling you this." Baya was speechless. Gu Lingqing watched their interaction coldly. His face was pale. "He watched it with me." Chapter 176. She had the urge to kill herself with a piece of tofu. The more she wanted to hide her relationship with Gu Lingqing, the more she was afraid that it would be discovered. She could not bear the consequences of being discovered. She wanted to ask for help, but she did not know who to turn to. Assistant Leng was surprised. "Detective Bai, when you were on the train, you were with Mr. Gu the whole time." Baya lowered her head and did not say a word. "Yes, I was with her." Gu Lingqing answered on behalf of Baya. "Don't tell me you're in a relationship?" Assistant Leng seemed to have discovered a new continent. Gu Lingqing kept quiet. Baya could not stand the pressure. She needed a rebound and explained, "No, I'm not in a relationship with Mr. Gu. My good friend is a doctor in the military, so I know Mr. Gu." Gu Lingqing looked at Baya coldly. His deep eyes were unfathomable and his tightly pursed lips showed his displeasure. "So it's not. Let's talk about the case in detail." Leng Qiuzuan went back to the main topic. "I've taken a look at the video. Although it's not clear when this video was taken, it's impossible for it to be done with technology from 25 years ago." "That's true. We found out the identity of this person based on facial recognition. Her name is Wang Donner, 35 years old this year. She's from Cauliflower Village, Pingtown. She used to have an older sister who went out to work 25 years ago and disappeared. This older sister is the first female queen of the dead, Xiahe. These two sisters grew up without parents and have a very good relationship. These two sisters look very similar. Wang Donner even had plastic surgery to look like Xia He, Mr. Cheng said. So this Wang Donner is the murderer? How did she kill the bear? Assistant Lung asked curiously. The problem is she was filming when the bear died. Many people can testify. Mr. Cheng furrowed his eyebrows. This Wang Donner must be the murderer. She has an accomplice so she can create an alibi. Let's capture her and see, Leng Qiuzuan said. I have another question that I find very strange. Didn't we not find any connection between the victims? From the looks of it, their relationship was very good 25 years ago, Assistant Leng said. 25 years ago, computers were not yet common. At that time, people communicated through letters and they signed their letters with pen names. We focus on the internet, cell phones, but we forget that there is a primitive form of communication, letters. These people are all in Cydia now, and they should still be in contact with each other, using a secret method like letters, Baya analyzed. Gu Lingqing said to Mr. Cheng, go to the military and check if Xiong Chang'an and Xiong Jiqing are communicating through letters. Also, the three murderers 25 years ago, Xiong Jinping, Xiong Jiqing and Xiong Chang'an, all have the surname Xiong. Could their acquaintance be related to their surnames? You can ask Xiong Jinping's sister, Xiong Dani, Baya suggested. We can arrest Wang Donner. Let's talk to her first, Leng Qiuzuan said. He stood up and walked forward. Baya stood up as well. She had a call. She saw that Gu Lingqing kept staring at her. His gaze was too aggressive, so she picked up the call without looking at who it was to relieve her guilt. Baya, Dani said you're back. Song Xiu's voice came from the phone. Baya was stunned. She walked out of the meeting room quickly and answered, okay. She walked towards the sky garden. Don't see Lingqing. You know you can't afford to offend him. Song Xiu went straight to the point. I've seen him, Baya said in a low voice. She looked at the air coldly. He doesn't remember you. He has forgotten what happened between you two. If you want to live well and want him to live better, you should forget him too, Song Xiu said sincerely. Baya heard the warning in Song Xiu's words. She thought of the past and how they hurt each other hysterically. Her heart sank to the bottom of a frozen lake. Her blood was completely cold. Her eyes also darkened. I have a friend called Lu Shuang. She is now a doctor in the special military. I need her to be 100% safe. If she isn't safe, I don't know what I will do. Can you guarantee her safety? Baya negotiated. Don't worry. As long as you let Lingqing go, I can promise you, Song Xiu promised. Give me some time, Baya said and closed her eyes. Her heart was heavy as if it was pressed by 1,000 pounds of water. It was sour and bitter, very sad. She and Gu Lingqing had to part ways before they could even meet again. This was fate. She opened her eyes. Her eyes were clear, desperate and cold. She turned around. Gu Lingqing was standing behind her. She was shocked. She didn't know when he came over how long he stood there and what he heard. She lowered her eyes guiltily. Gu Lingqing walked in front of her and looked down at her. His eyes were as sharp as X-rays. He ordered, raise your head. Baya took a deep breath. She raised her eyes and looked at him. His handsome face was reflected in her clear eyes. You have been avoiding me on purpose since the early morning. Gu Lingqing said a statement. She was avoiding him on purpose. She didn't want their relationship to be exposed. Once their relationship was exposed, Song Xiu would come to her and put pressure on her. Now their relationship had not been exposed, but Song Xiu had come to her. It meant that Song Xiu really cared about her. What do you think our relationship is? Baya asked directly. You are the only woman I have slept with. What do you think our relationship is? Gu Lingqing said coldly, staring at her with his sharp eyes. But you have a fiancé. Your fiancé's father is the deputy director of the Discipline Inspection Department. He is very powerful and has power over the government. If Su Jing finds out that something happened between me and his son-in-law, how do you think he will deal with me? Baya asked rationally. With me here, I won't let them hurt you. Gu Lingqing promised. Baya's eyes turned a little red and tears filled her eyes. In the past, Gu Lingqing also said the same to her. So, even if she had to die, she still wanted to be with him. But, she gave up everything and what she got was betrayal. In his heart, Zhou Hailan was the one, not her. He would never know her heartache and despair at that time. Tell me this when you are sure about your feelings for me. Otherwise, your behavior is no different from that of a scumbag, Baya said bluntly, passing by him. Gu Lingqing held her wrist and squinted at her. His eyes were deep. He pursed his lips and didn't say anything. Chapter 177. Gu Lingqing squinted his eyes. He saw a sense of resentment in her eyes. This resentment was pitiful, contemptuous, and self-deprecating. You hate me? Gu Lingqing deduced. Baiya didn't deny it. Hate because of love. What you can't get will always be restless. Red Rose is a nice song, Baiya said meaningfully. She pushed his hand away and walked out. Gu Lingqing furrowed his brows and looked at her back in a secretive manner. They were fine on the train yesterday. Why did she seem to be a different person today? Cold, unkind, and unapproachable aura, which made him feel very uncomfortable. However, there was something he needed to deal with. Gu Lingqing made a call. Su Xiaoling answered. She couldn't believe that Gu Lingqing, who never called her, would call her. Lingqing. Su Xiaoling, I won't marry you. You won't have any freedom as my fiancé, Gu Lingqing said. Su Xiaoling wasn't calm. What do you mean by that? Although I turned a blind eye to the things you did, it doesn't mean that I don't know. Keeping a gigolo and playing with gigolos. Once these actions are exposed, it won't be good for the Su family. After all, your father is the vice president and the presidential candidate, Gu Lingqing reminded her. Su Xiaoling clenched her fist. Are you threatening me? I'm just informing you that we've been engaged for more than 3 years. If we could develop feelings, we would have gotten married a long time ago. It's best if you call off the engagement. That's it, I still have something to do here. Gu Lingqing was about to hang up. Gu Lingqing, do you know what you've done wrong? Su Xiaoling said fiercely. I'll take responsibility for my actions, Gu Lingqing said resolutely. You're so self-righteous and headstrong. Let me tell you, do you think that you love Zhou Hailan? Actually no, you love another woman. Su Xiaoling roared irrationally. She wished that the words she said were like a sharp blade stabbing Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing was silent. He held the phone and did not hang up. You must be very curious right now. Who do you love? Every day when I see you thinking about Zhou Hailan, I think that it's a good thing that there's a girl who's hurt even worse than me. She almost lost her life for you. I feel like you're an idiot and it's especially satisfying. Su Xiaoling gritted her teeth and said. Gu Lingqing's cold eyes narrowed and became bloodshot. What do you mean? Be more specific. I won't tell you. I will make you miss Zhou Hailan and hurt the woman you love the most. Do you know how pitiful that woman is? Committing suicide for you, I think she will never forgive you for the rest of her life. And I will never forgive you. Su Xiaoling hung up the phone. Gu Lingqing thought of Baiya's wrist. He turned around and walked quickly to Baiya's room. Baiya was packing her luggage. When she heard the knock on the door, she walked to the door and saw Gu Lingqing through the peephole. She opened the door. Gu Lingqing held her hand and looked at the scar on her wrist. His eyes darkened. He was now sure that the woman Su Xiaoling said he loved was Baiya. Gu Lingqing's eyes flashed with pity. I'm sorry, I forgot about you. Baiya was angry before. She didn't like being forced. When he held her wrist, she wanted to throw his hand away in a fit of rage. But when she heard this belated apology, all her emotions were frozen. In her heart, there were raging waves, beating against all her memories. She felt wronged, sad, and very, very wronged. She had waited for this apology for a very, very long time. She waited for innocence and waited for despair. But what was the use of apologizing? She had forgotten. She had forgotten. Baiya controlled her emotions. Let go of me. You're hurting me. Gu Lingqing didn't let go. He just loosened his grip a little. He looked at her with a burning gaze. We didn't break up at all, right? It's just because I lost my memory that we lost all contact, right? Baiya knew that she couldn't hide it anymore. He was very smart. He had sharp observations that ordinary people didn't have. She was also tired. She didn't want to play hide and seek with him anymore. Yes. That one word was crisp and clear. Gu Lingqing's grip on her wrist tightened. He connected all the details and deduced, the reason why my parents didn't let me know about the past was because they objected to us being together. They kidnapped you and used you to threaten me to marry Su Xiaoling. Your finger was cut off by them? Yes. Yes, Baiya said looking straight at him. We didn't break up because of their objection. Because of some reason you and I were both investigating the massacre of Tangqian village. Were I with you before the accident? Gu Lingqing asked again. The cruel memories were like an onion, peeling off the layers by him. She could still vividly remember the explosions when he went on a mission. The Gu Lingqing she loved and the Gu Lingqing who loved him had died in that explosion. If it wasn't for his memory loss later, she wouldn't have known that Gu Lingqing loved Zhou Hailan. He was only responsible for her. Tears she couldn't hold back flowed down her eyes. She really hoped that she would die in that explosion. At least she wouldn't have to face the cruelty after that. At least she would have died with Gu Lingqing with faith. She wouldn't have felt lonely like she did later. Gu Lingqing saw her crying. His heart tightened. He wiped away her wet tears with his thumb and promised, "I will be responsible for you." Responsible? Responsible. Responsible. Baya stopped crying. She stared at Gu Lingqing and her eyes gradually became determined. She hated the word responsible. He got close to her, deceived her feelings and won her heart because he wanted to be responsible. What she used was complete love. Why did she only get responsibility? She didn't want this responsibility. No need. When I woke up in the hospital and decided to cross the sea, I had already decided not to love you anymore. Baya, who loved you, died because of the ignorance and stupidity of the past. Now I have been reborn. If you really want to be responsible for me, then let me go and stay away from my life. In the future we will never see each other again, Baya said coldly. Gu Lingqing frowned. He couldn't see through her at all. Is this really the result you want? This is the result I want, Baya said clearly. No entanglement, no nostalgia, no memories, no wandering. We should all look forward. Gu Lingqing looked at her smile, and his heart seemed to be stabbed by a sharp knife. Chapter 178. As proud and arrogant as he was, he let go of Baya's wrist, turned around and disappeared from her sight. Baya closed the door. The world was peaceful. She got what she wanted. However, what was the reason for the overwhelming sense of loss, sadness, and regret in her heart? Baya didn't go for lunch. She simply didn't want to go. She didn't want to see Gu Lingqing to avoid being embarrassed. She made a bowl of noodles and ate a few mouthfuls. The noodles were too hard and her stomach felt uncomfortable. She wanted to go out and buy some fruits. She opened the door and saw xuanhuan outside. He looked like he was about to knock on the door. What's wrong? Baya asked. They caught Wang Donner and brought her witnesses back. One is her partner and the other is the cameraman. I suspect that their testimonies were matched. They both said that they were filming when the crime happened, xuanhuan said seriously. Where is the footage? Baya asked. I'll send it to your computer. Go to the station to interrogate Wang Donner at 2 in the afternoon. Take a look and see if there's any weak point that can break through Wang Donner's psychological defense. Have you seen it? Baya asked directly. xuanhuan's face was strangely red. Yes. Is it before or after the editing? After the editing. Send me a copy of the edited footage and send it to my email. I'll go out to buy some fruits and come back to watch it. I'll go to the station with you at 2 in the afternoon, Baya said straightforwardly. Okay. What fruits do you want to buy? I'll get someone to buy them for you, xuanhuan said with twinkling eyes. There's a fruit stall not far from here. I'll go there myself. Baya rejected his kindness. xuanhuan felt even more uncomfortable. Then help me buy some apples and pears. Mangosteen would be best. I like to eat mangosteen. Baya, xuanhuan said and wanted to leave. Baya did not argue with him. The case was about to be solved. How many more days could they spend together? Just muddle along. She went to the fruit stand and bought apples, pears, mangosteens, oranges and bananas for a total of 96 yuan. When she rummaged through her purse, she took out a 100 yuan bill. Baya looked up and saw Gu Lingqing. She was slightly surprised. You're here to buy fruits too? Gu Lingqing didn't even look at her in the eye and said in a low voice, I originally wanted to buy some for you, but I just happened to meet you here. Have you had lunch? I don't have much appetite. I don't feel like eating, Baya said. Gu Lingqing took all the fruits and looked at Baya. He was too strong. Standing in front of her, he was like an iron wall. Baya felt uneasy. Some of them belonged to xuanhuan. Gu Lingqing ignored her and walked towards the door. Baya followed behind him. Gu Lingqing strode towards the elevator. He didn't say anything. She didn't want to talk to him either. She walked to the deepest part of the elevator. Baya, Gu Lingqing shouted. Oh? Baya looked at him. Her eyes met his deep gaze. She didn't know what he wanted to say. There are some things that you want to watch with me, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. There are some things that you're talking about. Don't tell me it's a video taken by Wang Donner? Baya guessed. It's impossible to find any problems with those finished products. I want the ones that haven't been edited. Focus on the bystanders, Gu Lingqing reminded him. He had the same thought as her. However, she didn't really want to watch it with him when she thought about what happened when they watched it together. Xuanhuan has already emailed me the ones that haven't been edited. Baya looked down and said. Let's go to your room then, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya. Her original intention was to reject him in a roundabout way. She didn't expect him to climb up the ladder. I want to watch it alone, Baya said straightforwardly. Gu Lingqing's face darkened. He stared at her unhappily and said in an irrefutable tone, You have the right to make a request. However, it's rejected. I'm not your subordinate. I don't need to apply to you. Rejected. Gu Lingqing emphasized. Baya frowned and was annoyed. I think I've already made it very clear to you. What did you make clear? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya saw that he seemed to have forgotten everything. Well, I don't love you anymore. There was a ding. The elevator door opened. Gu Lingqing strode out of the elevator. Baya jogged behind him. If it's not necessary, I don't think we can continue to be in a relationship. Gu Lingqing pursed his lips. He took the room card to open his door and placed the fruits on the dining table. Baya stood at the door and glanced at the fruits. She didn't know whether to enter or not. Gu Lingqing pulled his tie and unbuttoned his neck. He looked back at her and frowned. You don't dare to come in? Or are you afraid that I'm a poisonous snake or a beast that will eat you? Baya was a little dazed. Gu Lingqing had said this to her before. The truth was that he was even more terrifying than a poisonous snake or a beast. She passed by his room and didn't want to go in. Gu Lingqing had no choice but to rush out. He held her hand and pulled her into the room. He slammed the door. Baya pulled her hand out and turned to walk towards the door. Gu Lingqing strode forward and pushed the door, trapping her between the door and him. Do you have to make me angry? Gu Lingqing said unhappily. Now you're the one who made me angry. Baya said even more unhappily. How did I make you angry? Gu Lingqing asked in return. Baya was speechless. I wanted to leave but you didn't let me. I wanted to watch it alone, but you insisted on watching it with me. Isn't this making me angry? I didn't let you leave and insisted on watching it with you. Don't you know why? Gu Lingqing retorted confidently. Baya's heart trembled. She looked into his deep eyes. He put his arm around her waist and pulled her to his side. Their bodies were pressed together. Baya's back stiffened. She pushed his shoulder. There are many women you want to find. Don't look for me. I don't want to. There are many women, but I don't like many women. I like to talk about love first, then do a. Gu Lingqing turned around and pressed Baya down on his bed. When you had sex with me for the first time, were you in love? Baya was furious. His body was too hot. It was so hot that it was about to melt her. She didn't like to be infatuated with him anymore. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. When he saw her 3 years ago, he had a special feeling. When he saw her on the plane, it was as if he had found the person he had always been looking for. He wouldn't have sex with anyone casually. If he had to count, she was the only one. I think he must have never forgotten you. That's why he made me dream of you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya could tell that he was talking about the Gu Lingqing in the past. The Gu Lingqing that she loved. Chapter 179. You've forgotten everything. You don't know anything. You think you haven't forgotten, but it's just your speculation, Baya frowned and said. Her voice was choked with sobs. Gu Lingqing looked at him deeply. Her tearful face was reflected in his dark eyes. He didn't know what happened between them in the past, and he didn't know why she rejected him so much and firmly believed that he didn't like her. But he knew how he felt now. He felt heartache when he saw her crying. The pain was very real. She said she wanted to give up on him and he felt heartache too. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and kissed the tears on her face. It was salty and bitter. He said domineeringly, Then I'll know that I won't let you go before I recover my memory. You're wasting our time. Baya pushed him. Gu Lingqing held her hand. You don't have a boyfriend anyway, right? Although she said that, she knew that she was afraid that she would fall again. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Baya looked at the door defensively. What's the matter? Gu Lingqing asked. It's me, Xiaowang. Mr. Lung wants to see you. He has something to discuss, Xiaowang said. Hurry up or else Leng Qiuzuan will be here soon, Baya reminded him. Gu Lingqing let go of Baya, stood up and opened the video file on the computer. He looked at her and said, I'll be back soon. You watch it first. Okay, Baya answered. Gu Lingqing went out. She watched him leave. It wasn't appropriate for her to stay in his house, so she picked up the fruits and walked to her room. Leng Qiuzuan's room. The case is about to be solved. Did you ask the higher-ups to order us not to interfere? Leng Qiuzuan said bluntly. This case involves too many people, so we'll take over. Leng Qiuzuan can rest early. Isn't that good? Gu Lingqing said indifferently. Every profession has its own specialization. Mr. Gu, don't you think you're overstepping your authority? Just because the murderer and the victim are both from the military, you can treat human lives like grass. I think we should give the victim's family an explanation, Leng Qiuzuan said fiercely. Gu Lingqing smiled and sat down on the sofa. Mr. Leng, what do you mean by explanation? Let the families of the deceased know how their children died. Leng Qiuzuan said coldly. You know how he died. Then they would seek revenge on the murderer. The problem was the murderer had already been killed. For the parents of the deceased, where was the revenge? Their child had been dead for 25 years. Now their hair was white, and the pain of the past had been erased with time by another child. Perhaps because they did not know the situation of their own child, they still had hope in their hearts, hoping that their child could live a good life. Cruel. Reality doesn't help them at all, Gu Lingqing said calmly. So, you just want to drown out the truth? Leng Qiuzuan didn't agree. The truth has already been found out. There's no such thing as drowning out the truth. We just need to choose a better way to express it. For example, we can make up for it with money or career. This is just because you want to protect the reputation of the military. Don't make it sound so nice. Mr. Gu is just a hypocritical and cunning villain, Leng Qiuzuan said fiercely. 25 years ago, these three people hadn't joined the military yet. I just want to know, after they joined the military they didn't do anything bad. I'm not wrong to protect the honor of the military. If the military is not trusted, and the boss has a rebellious attitude, do you think it's helpful to maintain peace? Is it? Besides, once this kind of news spreads abroad, do you think it's helpful to our country? Maybe I don't do things openly, and in the eyes of others, I'm a cunning villain. However, in front of the honor and interests of our country, my personal sacrifice is nothing. Mr. Leng, if there's nothing else, I have to go back to work on the case. Gu Lingqing stood up. You're so dignified. Does Baiya know about it? Do you think she'll agree with what you're doing? Leng Qiuzuan said coldly. I don't need other people to agree with what I do, Gu Lingqing said arrogantly. He opened the door and went back to his room. Baiya was gone. He made a call to Baiya. Baiya was eating an apple in her room, browsing through the information before the video was cut. She picked up her phone and glanced at it. It was Gu Lingqing's call. She didn't want to answer it, so she put the phone on silent mode and put it beside her. Tick tick tick. The door was opened. Gu Lingqing walked in. Baiya, where did he get the room card? Why didn't you answer the phone? Gu Lingqing said. He closed the door and walked towards her. The phone was right beside her. How could she say she didn't hear it? I saw a key content, so I didn't answer it, Baiya explained. She bit her apple and looked at the computer. What key content? Tell me. Gu Lingqing sat beside her quietly. He didn't say a word about why she left his room. Baiya definitely wouldn't bring it up. Look, there are quite a lot of people here. I suggest we interrogate them one by one. As long as one of them isn't mentally strong, he can break through immediately, Baiya suggested. Okay, Gu Lingqing answered. He didn't say anything else. Baiya could only continue watching. She had watched such videos before. Lu Shuang always dragged her to watch them together. One of the videos left a deep impression on her. It was a man who made a woman come 4 or 5 times in 5 minutes. She thought it was amazing. Because the woman's thing was especially obvious when it came. She looked at the videos before they cut and realized that they were all cut. After the woman did it for the first time, she would let him rest for a while before continuing. However, the rest in the middle was all removed. No wonder. So it was all fake. However, no matter how fake it was, it still made people blush. Moreover, there was Gu Lingqing sitting beside her. She felt his gaze on her. She turned her head and looked at Gu Lingqing. He was indeed looking at her. She didn't know how long he had been looking at her. Why are you looking at me? Watch the video, Gu Lingqing reminded her. Baiya, if you don't look at me, how do you know I'm looking at you? Baiya replied. I've already seen the problem. I don't know if you've seen it or not, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. If you've seen it, why didn't you say anything? Baiya was speechless. You're a professional. I just want to see what your ability is. My specialty is psychological research. I'm not watching videos. Baiya closed the computer. Since you've seen it, tell me, Chief Gu. Chapter 180. Baya watched as he collapsed on her bed. It wouldn't be good if someone saw this. Go back to your place and sleep. Gu Lingqing ignored her and didn't even open his eyes. Baya couldn't do anything to him. Seeing him sleeping peacefully, she thought he was quiet. When she was about to turn on the computer to continue her research, Leng Qiuzuan's voice came from outside the door. Open the door. Baya furrowed her brows. If Leng Qiuzuan saw Gu Lingqing, she wouldn't be able to clear her name even if she jumped into the Yellow River. Gu Lingqing, get up and hide for a while. Gu Lingqing lay on the bed and didn't respond. Gu Lingqing. Baya pushed him forcefully. Gu Lingqing held her hand and pulled it into his arms. He turned over and pressed her under his body, kissing her lips. Baya, I know you're inside. Hurry up and open the door. I have something to talk to you about, Baya. Leng Qiuzuan knocked on the door more and more hurriedly. Baya looked at the door worriedly. She was anxious, but her lips were blocked by him and she couldn't make a sound. She was afraid that Leng Qiuzuan would do the same and ask the room attendant to open the door. If that happened, she would be finished. She looked at Gu Lingqing with a pleading look. He finally let go of her and met her resentful eyes. Ignore him. You've been recruited. Gu Lingqing, can you stop fooling around? Leng Qiuzuan is my team leader and also my direct leader. You're making things difficult for me. This case has been taken over by the military. I've talked to the central government and now I'm in charge, Gu Lingqing explained. He let go of her and sat up. Does this mean that I can get off work and go home? Baya also sat up. You're not from the police station. It was the police station who went to the Psychology Research Institute to ask for help. Similarly, the military can also go to the Psychology Research Institute to ask for help. Therefore, your direct leader is no longer Leng Qiuzuan but me, Gu Lingqing said patiently and walked towards the door. Baya understood and hurriedly went forward to hug Gu Lingqing. Don't open the door. I'll open it. Why should I hide? Baya, what are you afraid of? Besides, Su Shaoling and I have already broken off our engagement. I'm single now. Gu Lingqing looked down at her and said. Baya looked at him in a daze. You broke off the engagement with Su Shaoling? 3 years ago, my memory of her was that of a younger sister. I really can't accept a younger sister becoming a fiancée. Therefore, I don't even have a younger sister relationship with her now, Gu Lingqing explained and observed the changes in Baya's expression. Su Jing agreed? Baya didn't believe it. He has no choice but to agree. Su Shaoling has been hanging around some female clubs in recent years and has had sex with more than 5 male prostitutes. If this scandal is exposed, Su Zheng's presidential election will definitely be ruined. Not to mention the presidency, even the position of vice president will be in danger. Now that Su Shaoling has brought it up, the Su family won't object, Gu Lingqing said with certainty. You know about Su Shaoling's matter? Baya was too shocked. She had even hinted to him before. It turned out that he knew it better than anyone else. It doesn't matter about her. I also know about what you've done abroad for the past 3 years, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice and looked at her with a burning gaze. Baya had to admit that it stirred up quite a lot of waves in her heart. Gu Lingqing had been paying attention to her for the past 3 years. Although she was shocked, she had to deal with Leng Qiuzuan first. Why don't you hide first? I don't want people to gossip about me, Baya said with a pleading tone. Who dares to gossip about you? Gu Lingqing said conceitedly. Baya was angry. Are you going to hide or not? He stared at her, cleared his throat and silently went to the bathroom. Baya looked at his back. She didn't even realize that the corner of her mouth was slightly raised. When she opened the door, she happened to hear Leng Qiuzuan saying to the room attendant, Please open the door. This is my friend's room. I called for her for a long time, but she didn't open the door. I suspect something happened to her. Baya opened the door and blocked the door with her body. Mr. Leng, what can I do for you? Why don't you open the door? Why is your face so red? Leng Qiuzuan looked at her face suspiciously. Baya's eyes flickered. She was too guilty. She lowered her head and said, I'm looking at that. I found something strange. I'll tell you about it later. No need. I'm here to tell you that we don't need to follow this case anymore. Mr. Gu is in charge of it. I know, but you don't need to follow it. I'm originally from the Psychology Research Institute. Now I'm working with Mr. Gu, Baya explained. Aren't you curious why the military intervened? Leng Qiuzuan frowned. He didn't like Baya's casual attitude. Xiong Jiqing and Xiong Chang'an are both from the special military. Although these things happened before they joined the military, it may cause a bad impact because of the outside world speculation and people with ulterior motives. So, the military will strictly block the news when they take over. Don't you think it's wrong? Leng Qiuzuan said impatiently. I remember in my middle school politics class that the national honor is above the collective interest is above the individual interest, and the national interest is above everything else. All actions that harm the national interest are hostile actions. The military is doing the right thing. All right. I almost forgot. Mr. Leng, I studied abroad. Baya smiled. Her last sentence was filled with provocation. To me, the truth is above everything else, Leng Qiuzuan said with a pale face. I understand you. Mr. Leng is a very individualistic person. However, we all live in a group. If you are capable and use it well, you will win glory. If you are capable but not used it well, you will have a big side effect. Mr. Leng is a very capable person. I hope there will be a chance in the future. I hope I can solve the case with you in the future. Baya closed the door. Leng Qiuzuan leaned against the door and looked at her. I hope I can solve the case with me in the future. Is it true or not? It's very efficient to solve the case with Mr. Leng. The collective interest is above the individual interest. I mean it. Baya said with a smile. She closed the door slowly and turned around. Gu Lingqing was standing behind her silently. Baya was shocked after she realized what had happened. If Leng Qiuzuan wanted to come in and she let Leng Qiuzuan in, Gu Lingqing would be exposed. Annoyed, she slapped him on the shoulder. Gu Lingqing held her hand and pressed her against the door in a strong and turbulent manner. Baya, I can't satisfy you yet. Is that why you are in the mood to flirt with men? Who's flirting with men? Baya said in a low voice. She was afraid that Leng Qiuzuan was still at the door and could hear their conversation. You should reject Leng Qiuzuan directly. I don't want you to have a chance to work together. He has ambitions for you. If you want to flirt, you should flirt with me, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Chapter 181. Baya pushed Gu Lingqing away. Who's flirting with you? Then I'll flirt with you, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Baya's heart was beating very fast as she looked at him. He was very serious and cold. Even if it was a sweet talk, he was still very serious. She felt that she must have heard wrongly and wanted to leave his arms. He lowered his head and kissed her lips. He did not give her any chance to reject him. It was forceful and fierce. His hot breath was right beside her ear. She could not think at all. She wanted to push him away, but she did not have the strength. His kiss made it harder and harder for her to breathe. She leaned her head back and he pressed the back of her head. Baya could only breathe with all her might. Gu Lingqing held her hand and pressed it on his abdomen. She could feel his explosive strength through his pants. She wanted to pull her hand out, but he did not allow her to. She was angry and held it tightly. Gu Lingqing groaned and let go of her lips. He looked at her with a burning gaze. Xiaoya, it's too tight. Baya's heart skipped a beat. She pulled her hand out. Her palm felt like it was burned by a cigarette butt and it was rubbing against her clothes. I can't breathe. Can't you breathe when you kiss now? You're really stupid, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. It seemed like he was reprimanding her, but his tone was filled with love. She walked towards the table. Gu Lingqing did not want to let her go just like that. He held her arm. Baya said helplessly, I haven't seen anything wrong with the recording. I have to go to the police station at 2. At 6:10 p.m. there are two people chatting. From the movement of their lips, I can tell that they are going to watch the premiere of Sea of Beauties tonight. This is a movie from last year, Gu Lingqing reminded. You already saw it. Why didn't you tell me? Baya rushed to the computer and opened it. There were really two people talking. Are you sure they're talking about this? There's no sound. I can't be wrong if I read his lips, Gu Lingqing said affirmatively. Therefore the alibi they provided is fake. They are the murderers. I want to break through the witness. Baya already had an idea. Gu Lingqing sat down next to her and looked at her deeply. I don't think you should spend your time on the case but on me. What do you think? Baya stood up anxiously. You've already done it yesterday. You used to be a doctor. You should know that men only need to rest for 10 minutes before they can start again, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. You don't have to do that, Baya said softly. I want it, he said confidently and domineeringly. I still have to work in the afternoon, Baya refused. Fine. Gu Lingqing stood up and looked at him. Forget it if you don't want to. But actually, many men will be possessed by a second brain. Although I won't be affected, I will still be affected. I hope you won't do anything indecent while you're working. Baya held his arm. You won't, right? Gu Lingqing smiled. What do you think? Baya shook his hand off in annoyance. You're not flirting. You're coercing me. Gu Lingqing hugged her waist and pulled her to his side. He lowered his voice. Xiaoya, I want you. Baya pursed her lips and looked at him. Can I refuse? No, Gu Lingqing said without thinking. But he didn't make a move. He seemed to be waiting for her to agree. Baya looked at the time on the bottom right corner of the computer. It was 1:20. She was already 27.5 years old. She had passed the age where she liked to dream and fantasize. She started to understand that when a man wanted to have sex with a woman, sex was not necessarily love. Sometimes it was a kind of conquest. Sometimes it was a proof. Sometimes it was a physical need. Gu Lingqing had sex with her yesterday. It was unlikely that he had a physical need. Did he want to conquer or did he want a proof? Or, because of love? She didn't dare to think about the last possibility. She was afraid to think about it. She was afraid to sink into it. She was afraid that she would never be able to make a comeback. She would just treat it as a chance encounter between a mature man and woman. Hurry up. Baya agreed. The corners of Gu Lingqing's mouth turned up slightly. He kissed her lips more passionately and pressed her down on the bed. He kissed her neck, earlobe, collarbone and down. Baya, your reaction is very good. You like it, don't you? Gu Lingqing asked in a hoarse voice. Who wouldn't like it when you do it like this? Baya asked in return. I like it too, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Baya's heart skipped a few beats. He held her ankle and pressed it down on her face. Baya could clearly feel that he wanted her. She breathed softly and her face was burning red. His gaze was too hot. She turned her face away in embarrassment. He moved her face so that she was facing him. I used to like it too, right? Lu Shuang said that I often came to look for you and forced him to go out and play mahjong. Baya didn't expect that Lu Shuang would tell him this. She found it hard to say it. He wanted her to say it, so he was grinding on her. It made her uncomfortable. She frowned and said, Hurry up. Hurry up what? Didn't you say that you don't want it before? He was very interested. He liked how anxious she was. It made him feel that he was needed too. When she said that she wanted him to let her go, he felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He didn't want to be dispensable to her. Gu Lingqing, Baya said angrily. Her voice was sweet and especially pleasant to the ears. If she could say it out loud, she probably wouldn't be Baya. Got it? He couldn't help but say it. Both of them let out soft sounds of comfort. Gu Lingqing's heart skipped a beat. He kissed her slightly opened lips and supported her head with his elbows on the bed. After all, he was a soldier. His physique, strength and speed were super good. Baya couldn't take it anymore. Her voice was drowned in his mouth. She got excited too. She hugged his waist. Unknown things were running everywhere. Her mind was blank. She slowly stepped on the clouds and floated down. She regained her senses. She focused her eyes and saw Gu Lingqing looking at her. She didn't know how long he looked at her. She was very shy. Her eyes were shining. Why are you looking at me? There's only the two of us here. I don't want to look at you. I want to look at myself. Gu Lingqing replied. You should come down now. It's almost 2 a.m. I still want to take a shower, Baya said with a red face. Gu Lingqing didn't move. I think it's good to be with you like this for the rest of my life. I'm not interested in other women anyway. Baya didn't understand what he meant by that. Marry her? Or was he using flowery words to confuse her? Do you feel uncomfortable? Gu Lingqing asked her in a serious manner. Baya really didn't want to talk about this topic later. She said perfunctorily, I'm all right. Chapter 182. I want to take a shower now, but it's too late, Baya urged him. Okay. He got up and carried her to the bathroom. Baya used the bathtub and he used the shower. She didn't dare to look at him. She looked at the water in the bathtub, but her thoughts kept drifting to what he said. I think it's good to be with you like this for the rest of my life. I'm not interested in other women anyway. Baya, you're too boring. You can tell me if you have any requests. You're the only woman I've ever come into contact with, so I don't know what women like. If they're not good, I'll try to improve. Not only about her, but also about what happened to you abroad in the past 3 years. Su Shaoling and I have already broken off our engagement. I'm single now. He was really flirting with her with every word. He was flirting with her to the core. It was impossible to say that she wasn't flustered. She couldn't lie to herself. She was moved. Gu Lingqing, do you like me? Baya looked at him and asked directly. He was still secretive, and there was no trace of clues on his face. Do you believe what I said or do you believe what you saw? Bai Ya's heart skipped a beat, and a chill gradually invaded her body. She remembered that 3 years ago, Gu Lingqing hadn't lost his memory yet. She had also asked Gu Lingqing the same question. He said that he didn't say it but only did it. At that time she was very touched. She believed that Gu Lingqing wasn't a person with flowery words, and she also believed that he would use his actions to prove what true love was. It wasn't until he lost his memory that she knew that Gu Lingqing didn't say it because he loved Zhou Hailan in his heart. He couldn't say it. He was good to her and he just took his responsibility. Now Gu Lingqing was still like this. Bai Ya smiled. She raised an extremely charming smile and stood up from the bathtub. She calmly picked up the bath towel and wrapped it around her body. I believe it. I can feel it in my heart. She walked past him, went out and took out a change of clothes from her suitcase. The confusion in her eyes had all disappeared. What was left was only coldness. When Gu Lingqing came out of the washroom, Bai Ya was no longer there. She went to the police station first. When she arrived at the police station, she was surprised to see that Leng Qiuzuan was there too. I thought you had left. I don't like to give up halfway. Although I won't take over directly, it's good to know the result by watching you guys handle the case, Leng Qiuzuan explained. Bai Ya smiled. Although he was venomous, arrogant, and impolite to others, he was still very professional. Then I'll go in first. Bai Ya, Leng Qiuzuan shouted. Bai Ya looked at Leng Qiuzuan. I've checked Wang Donger's account. There's only 800 yuan in it. Last year she started to spend a lot of money. One of them was on a credit card in Japan. She bought a Sony HDR-X 2000E, a professional video camera. Also, her boyfriend, who was a videographer, had bought. Her partner, bought the latest 3D screen. Also, Wang Dong majored in psychology in university, Leng Qiuzuan reminded. I understand how they killed. Xiong Jiqing and Xiong Jinping were scared to death. They thought that Xiahe was after their lives. Xiong Chang'an committed suicide. Maybe he couldn't handle the mental pressure, Bai Ya guessed. It's up to you. I'll be in the surveillance room, Leng Qiuzuan said. Leng Qiuzuan said, coolly passing by her, then stopped. Did you buy the fruits I told you to buy? I bought them. They're in my room. I'll give them to you after I'm done with the interrogation, Bai Ya said. Leng Qiuzuan had a strange expression. He wanted to say something but stopped. He took a deep breath and said, Bai Ya, do you know why I took this case? You like challenges, Bai Ya said. Xiong Jinping is my friend's uncle. I was asked by my friend to take part in this case, Leng Qiuzuan said and looked at Bai Ya. Bai Ya understood now. His friend was Su Jiran. You knew who I was? Bai Ya asked. I didn't know. Jiran called me just now and asked me about you. I only found out that you're his ex-wife. I always thought that his ex-wife's surname was Xing. What's your relationship with Xing Jinyan? Leng Qiuzuan continued. No wonder she felt that Leng Qiuzuan's attitude towards her had changed. It turned out that he knew she was Su Jiran's ex-wife. My half-sister. We were born on the same year, month, and day. I'm a few minutes older than her, Bai Ya explained. You must have suffered a lot. That's why you changed from an obstetrician and gynecologist to a psychologist. Bai Ya smiled. No matter how bitter it is, it's all over. Because it's bitter, you'll feel that every day in the future will be sweet. As long as you don't feel bitter, you'll be invincible. Don't blame Su Jiran. I was wondering why he let Xing Badian go when he could have killed him. It's all because of you, Leng Qiuzuan said meaningfully. What does that mean? He wants to kill Xing Badian? Bai Ya was surprised. Su Jiran's biological father was killed by Xing Badian. He married you for revenge. You should ask Jiran about it. Since you're my brother's woman, I won't make things difficult for you. If you need help, you can call me. Leng Qiuzuan shrugged. He said regretfully. Su Jiran's biological father was killed by Xing Badian? Bai Ya was confused and couldn't believe it. No wonder she always felt that Su Jiran hated her and wanted to make her suffer on purpose, pushing her to hell step by step. There was actually such a layer of relationship in it. Leng Qiuzuan didn't say anything else and walked to the surveillance room. Bai Ya stood at the entrance of the police station, recalling the past bit by bit. Why are you standing here? Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Bai Ya was so engrossed that she was startled. She glanced at Gu Lingqing and walked to the interrogation room. Gu Lingqing held her arm and looked into her eyes. What are you thinking about? You don't look so good. I have some information. I roughly know how they killed them. However, Wang Donner is also a psychology student. It will be difficult for her to break through. After all, there is no concrete evidence. Baya said ambiguously. Don't worry about it. We have time. Besides, I suspect that this murder case can't be done by one person. It's hard to break through Wang Donner's psychological defense, but it's easy for others. Gu Lingqing said. Baya nodded. Gu Lingqing, do you know how Xiong Dani's husband died? I think he died during a mission. He was only 30 when he died. What? Gu Lingqing looked at Baya suspiciously. Chapter 183. Only 30? How old was Su Jiran then? Baya asked, glancing at Gu Lingqing. He looked at her deeply. Don't you think it's inappropriate to show your concern for your ex-husband in front of me? I'm just asking. You're talking about your ex-husband just by asking a few questions. If you don't ask casually, you're talking about him all the time. Baya, have I been too lenient with you? Gu Lingqing said the last sentence sternly. Baya, shut up. What was her relationship with him? He was being too nosy. She walked into the interrogation room and took a look at the information of the person involved. April 12, 2020, where were you? I was filming. I'm the cameraman, so of course I'm involved, the cameraman said confidently. What film? Baya said calmly. What film? Didn't you take it to watch? My close-up shot is not bad, right? It's very clear. Both men and women love to watch it, the cameraman said pervertedly. I didn't watch the close-up shot, but I saw that you said you were going to watch the premiere of Sea of Beauties. The premiere was in June 2019, right? So, this video wasn't filmed on the night of April 12, 2020. Tell me, what were you doing on April 12th? Baya said sternly. The cameraman looked at Baya with a dumbfounded expression. His eyes flickered. I don't know what you're talking about. It's okay if you don't know what I'm talking about, as long as the court knows what I'm talking about. Righteousness is a virtue, filial piety is a duty. You're taking the blame for someone else. Will your grandmother think that you're right? Baya asked, sizing up the cameraman's face. Panic flashed in his eyes. Don't tell my grandmother. I won't tell her, but if she hears the rumors, it might be even bloodier and darker than the truth. Are you sure you want to be the mastermind of the murder? Maybe you can't even fulfill your duty of filial piety? Maybe your grandmother doesn't even want to see you. Baya's words hit the heart of the cameraman. His heart. I actually don't know anything, the cameraman said in a panic. Then tell me what you know. Mason and I are partners. He seduces beautiful women to come over, and they volunteer to shoot some videos and post them online to earn some money. Some of the videos are sold directly to Japanese film companies. Last year he brought a girl with him. Her name was Wang Dong. He said this girl was very different. I'm filming for them. That's all I do. Mason handles everything else. One day they asked me to shoot a thriller, saying that they had a way to upload it to an online video app. However, the scene was too bloody, too violent, too realistic, and too erotic. It didn't pass the audit at all. Then Wang Donner and Mason disappeared and I made a short film or something. Late at night on the 12th of April, Mason contacted me and told me that if anyone asked about me, just tell them that I was filming on the 12th of April. That's what happened, the cameraman explained. After we verify that what you said is true, we will let you go. Baya stood up. Gu Lingqing was already standing outside the door. I'm going to interrogate Wang Donger now, Baya said to Gu Lingqing. She might admit to the video, but she might not admit to the murder. I've read all of Wang Xiahe's diary. I've written down everything about Wang Dong. Take a look first. Gu Lingqing passed a square piece of paper to Baya. Baya now understood why he looked so tired. He must have stayed up all night to read the diary. Why didn't you give it to me earlier? Baya took the paper from his hand, confused. It's a bit heavy. I didn't want you to feel bad. You'll know when you read it, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya flipped the paper. She did feel uncomfortable after reading it. There was a gloomy feeling like the dampness of rain. She looked at Gu Lingqing slowly. He was still as meticulous as before. He would care about her feelings. Even in death, he didn't forget to protect her. In terms of feelings, he was using himself to make up for it. If Su Jiran treated her well, he wouldn't have saved her. If he didn't lose his memory, he wouldn't have let her know that he loved Zhou Hailan. He was just responsible for her. He was a very mature man. She couldn't blame him. Baya turned around. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing confusedly. I don't have a good temper. Don't be angry at me, Gu Lingqing said. Baya was stunned. I'm not angry. What do you mean? It's okay if you forgot. However, I still have to make it clear. You're my woman now. Don't think about your ex-husband, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Who's your woman? Baya pursed her lips and denied it. She turned around and walked toward the interrogation room. Gu Lingqing stood there. His face was livid. There was a fire in his heart. He couldn't let it out or swallow it. I'm curious. Why is Jieran so obsessed with her? I think I know the answer. Leng Qiuzuan stood beside Gu Lingqing. He looked at Baya's back and sighed. Gu Lingqing looked at Leng Qiuzuan. I slept with her. Leng Qiuzuan. He never thought that such words would come out of Gu Lingqing's mouth. It was like a child showing off his toy. Gu Lingqing was satisfied with his expression. The fire in his heart seemed to have been released. Almost every day. Leng Qiuzuan, bro, you're bragging, Leng Qiuzuan said bluntly. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. He said calmly, and many times a day. That's enough. Leng Qiuzuan raised his voice. His sister could tolerate it, but his brother couldn't. However, Gu Lingqing was still serious. He said domineeringly, pass on the 3 sentences I said to Su Jieran. Add 1 more sentence. He doesn't have a chance. I never spread false rumors. Leng Qiuzuan raised his chin and walked past Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing's anger was slightly appeased. Now it was back. When you came to talk bad about me to Baya, I was in her room. Gu Lingqing pointed it out. Leng Qiuzuan laughed. How can a man who isn't acknowledged by a woman say that other men don't have a chance? What a joke. Gu Lingqing twitched the corner of his mouth. Compared to the coldness in his eyes, his smile was a little terrifying. I heard that Mr. Leng is a black dan in karate. Let's have a match? Sure. After Baya interrogates Wang Donner, let's have a match. Who's afraid of who? What will the loser say? Leng Qiuzuan said confidently. The loser of course will go to the hospital. What else can he say? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Chapter 184. Baya walked into the interrogation room. Wang Donner was calm and collected. She smiled and said, looks like you've already passed the first test. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Baya sat on the chair and said, I heard that you're studying psychology. What made you change your profession? Hobby. Are you satisfied with this answer? Wang Donner smiled and said. Baya looked at her and tapped the table rhythmically. Your sister is much older than you. When she left you, you were only 7. Do you still remember what happened when you were 7? Wang Donner casually flicked the lamp on the table to the floor and made a loud thud. Baya stopped and looked at Wang Donner in surprise. Are you trying to hypnotize me? Wang Donner already knew what was going on. We're kindred spirits. Let's just have a chat. Your family is from a scholarly family? Baya guessed. My mother is a doctor and my father is a teacher. They were both killed in a burglary case. My sister and I were raised by my grandmother. Our family conditions weren't good, so my sister went out to work, Wang Donner said casually. The culprits who killed your parents have been caught, right? Baya said with certainty. A year after my sister went out to work, the 2 robbers were killed by a car when they were trying to escape, Wang Donner said coldly. So, you don't believe the police and want to use your ability to avenge your sister? Baya guessed. Wang Donner laughed. You're tricking me. It's just a normal analysis. You know what I mean. Wang Donner leaned back in her chair lazily. Then let me analyze you. Wang Donner looked at Baya from head to toe and her gaze landed on Baya's broken finger. Baya subconsciously put his hand under the table. You have a man you love very much. This man doesn't love you. You're in a lot of pain, Wang Donner guessed. Baya laughed. You were raped by your uncle. Wang Donner looked at Baya in surprise. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. How did you know? No one knows about this, not even my boyfriend. You cherished your sister's feelings too much. You didn't receive any consolation from other relatives. You originally studied psychology, but because of the trauma, you started to give up on yourself. That was until you found your sister's body in the diary. You started your year-long deployment, Baya guessed. Yes, I took some videos. If not for the fact that there were no ghosts, would they have been scared to death? Wang Donner mocked. Her eyes were filled with disdain. You've seen your sister's days, right? She keeps repeating that she wants Dong-er to be well. She calls those people bad people. If your sister knew what you've done, would she call you that? Baya asked. My sister will be proud of me. Even though your sister was abused, she had a kind and gentle heart. She wanted to use her meager strength to save the 2 children. That's why they deserve to die even more. They didn't even spare a kind person like my sister. Do they even have a conscience? They injected a vesicant into her when she was still alive. They wanted my sister to die, Wang Dong said hatefully. They were wrong. Do you think you did the right thing? Your sister said that she wanted to worship her parents with you. She wanted to be filial to her grandmother with you. She wanted to help other children like you. Xiong Jiqing's child is 7 years old. He's the same age as you. Xiong Jiqing deserved it. He was the one who injected the vesicant into my sister. Wang Donner was agitated. What about a 7-year-old child? Baya asked. He doesn't deserve to have a child, Wang Donner said coldly. But he's already a 7-year-old child. Xiong Jiqing paid the price for his actions. What about you? Are you going to continue to struggle in the mud and let your sister down? Or are you going to bear the responsibility? I know you wanted to let Xiong Chang'an go on purpose. That's because Xiong Chang'an treated your sister well. Your sister said in the diary that he was a good person. However, he was under too much pressure and chose to commit suicide. Am I right? Baya asked seriously. Wang Donner's eyes turned red. Xiong Chang'an liked my sister. He was the first one who came to me to repent. I asked him to report me, but he didn't dare to. He was a coward. Even if he committed suicide, my sister wouldn't forgive him. Your sister will forgive him because she's kind. Baya lowered her eyes and paused for 3 seconds. Wang Donner, you've committed the crime of using a terrorist video to kill someone. Everything you've said can be used as evidence in court. I believe the court will make a clear judgment. You tricked me? Wang Donner looked at Baya anxiously. I'm telling the truth. Since you've planned this for a year and even dragged your boyfriend down with you, you don't intend to let them go. They must die. That's because they deserve to die. They're mentally strong. If they're scared to death, it means that they're repentant towards your sister. Why did you? They didn't have any repentance at all. I was the one who drugged them. The powder entered their brains through the smell and glowed after 2 hours. The forensics department couldn't detect it at all, Wang Donner said impulsively. Yes. Leng Qiuzuan couldn't help but praise her. He crossed his arms and looked at Baya with admiration. I didn't expect her to be not only beautiful but also smart. She's able to use her mind freely. No wonder she's so famous at such a young age. Well done. Gu Lingqing turned off the surveillance. The screen was black. Leng Qiuzuan frowned and looked at Gu Lingqing. What are you doing? The case has been exposed. Next it's our job. Are you going? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course. Wang Donner said that the man Baya loved didn't love her. I think she was talking about Su Jiran, the man she loved. Leng Qiuzuan said these 4 words with deep meaning, full of provocation. You're thinking too much. If they loved each other, they wouldn't have gotten a divorce. He walked out coldly. Leng Qiuzuan followed behind him unhappily. He imagined the scene of Gu Lingqing being beaten up by him. Just thinking about it made him feel better. Half an hour later, the ambulance arrived. They carried Leng Qiuzuan onto a stretcher and sent him to the hospital. Baya came out of the interrogation room. Seeing that Gu Lingqing wasn't around, she went back first and booked a train ticket back to City A. She was packing her luggage at the hotel. Knock knock knock. Someone knocked on the door. She looked through the peephole. It was Gu Lingqing. She opened the door and looked at her calmly. Gu Lingqing handed the 99 roses to her. They say that all girls like roses. Thank you. Baya took it and placed it on the table. Chapter 185. Baya widened her eyes and stared at Gu Lingqing. Her mind went blank for a moment, but she quickly calmed down. If you want to date me officially because you're worried that I'll feel wronged, then you don't have to. I'll only feel more wronged if I date you, Baya said bluntly and put the folded clothes into the luggage. What do you mean by more wronged? Gu Lingqing frowned. Do you think I'm not qualified to be your boyfriend? Baya didn't even look at Gu Lingqing. She zipped up the luggage and put it upright. She looked at Gu Lingqing seriously. The premise of dating is that we like each other. Do you think we like each other? Gu Lingqing pursed his lips tightly. His face was pale and he looked at her deeply. His aura changed according to his mood. Baya carried the luggage and walked towards the door. Gu Lingqing held her arm and looked at her. I think we like each other. Baya's heart skipped a beat. She looked at him and sized up his expression. I don't want to date. If I want to, we'll just get married. You can't get a divorce in a military marriage. Do you dare? Gu Lingqing paused. Baya smiled. Her eyes were full of sarcasm. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. I don't have time to waste my youth. It's too dangerous to be in a relationship with the general. I don't have the confidence to walk to the end. Either we get married and I'll be with you for the rest of my life. You don't have to answer me immediately. I'll give you a month to think about it carefully before you decide. There's no medicine for regret in this world. She pushed his hand away, opened the door and walked out. Her eyes were dark and misty, reflecting the sunlight. Baya was mentally and physically exhausted. She couldn't afford to play any games of love. She couldn't bear any tragic ending. If she dated Gu Lingqing and was found out by Song Shiyu and Gu Tianheng, she would definitely die. Or she could cut ties with Gu Lingqing and start a new life. Otherwise, she could directly become Gu Lingqing's wife. What was done could not be undone. With her identity as the wife of the chief, Song Shiyu and Gu Tianheng would not be able to hurt her. The deepest part of her heart hid the most hysterical love for Gu Lingqing. She chose to compromise and give herself one last chance. Regardless of whether he was responsible for her or had other motives, as long as he agreed to marry her, she would spend the rest of her life as a confession of love. However, she felt so wronged, so sullen and so afraid. She was afraid that she wouldn't have the courage to continue living after being mercilessly hurt. She was also afraid that accompanying her would become a mutual injury. The memory of the past was like a knife cutting her heart. Gu Lingqing's "Hailan, I miss you so much," was more painful than killing her. If it was the same after marriage, the person she loved someone else. She could persist in this kind of marriage. She was so conflicted. She couldn't figure it out, so she got stuck in a dead end and her thoughts started to get confused. Baya's remaining rationality found something wrong. She quickly took out a white plastic bottle from her bag, looked at the label and poured out a small black pill with trembling hands. She threw it into her mouth and dragged her suitcase into the corridor. She leaned against the wall, clenched her fists and slowly calmed herself down. A minute later, she opened her eyes, and the confusion in her eyes gradually became clear. There was a limit to human feelings. After being hurt, the heart would hurt, and the body would produce a lot of toxic substances, eroding the nerves and cells. The pain caused by this kind of feeling would not heal like a knife wound. In fact, it was very difficult to heal. When the pain reached a certain level, people would protect themselves and become mentally deranged. The most common was schizophrenia. Most patients indulged in hallucinations and delusions, which manifested in smashing things, hurting people, destroying things, indifference to feelings and detachment from real life. Her mother was like this. She had been schizophrenic for a long time. Depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, anxiety disorder, insomnia, anorexia, phobia, autism, personality disorder, and dementia all happened together. She didn't want to be like her mother and become schizophrenic. If that was the case, she would rather die. After adjusting her emotions, Baya came out of the corridor. Although doctors couldn't cure themselves, she knew a way to think about happy things, divert attention, find new joy in life, and so on. Baya came out of the elevator and saw Gu Lingqing sitting on the sofa in the lounge area. She went to check out. Gu Lingqing took her luggage. Baya looked at him and he put her luggage in his car. Baya checked out and walked over. Gu Lingqing opened the door of the front passenger seat. "I'll send you to the train station." "Okay." Baya nodded and sat in the front passenger seat calmly. Gu Lingqing drove, looked ahead and said, "I found the murderer, but this matter can't be made public. I have to stay to deal with the aftermath. The dead are gone and the living have to live. I have to do a good job of making up for it secretly. As long as you have a clear conscience." Baya sighed and said, "I didn't believe in fate in the past. I thought that the future was in my own hands. As long as I worked hard, as long as I persevered, as long as I moved towards my goal, I would always get what I deserved. In fact, sometimes there will be something in life." "Didn't you say that you have a clear conscience? If you don't work hard, how can you have a clear conscience?" Gu Lingqing said meaningfully, glancing at Baya's fair and delicate face. She wasn't impetuous. She was very beautiful, but she was also dignified and elegant. She was the kind of person who looked more and more beautiful at first glance. "I saw a news yesterday. It was about a 19-year-old girl who fell into the river because she broke up with her boyfriend. A boy jumped in and saved her. She was rescued, but the boy was washed away by the water and died because he was too weak. Isn't this fate?" Baya said with some sadness. Gu Lingqing held her hand and put it on his lap. His palm was very warm, but hers was very cold. "When I was helpless in life, I met Su Jiran. He helped me find a job and brought my mother out of the mental hospital. After getting my mother out of the mental hospital, I thought my life would get better. Only now did I know that Su Jiran and I knew each other because of a planned conspiracy. You saved me from the fire pit. I thought that I found happiness. For this happiness, I was willing to give up everything. Fate played a joke on me again. You lost your memory. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing and tears rolled down her cheeks. Gu Lingqing held Baya's hand tightly and frowned. I'll marry you. After I'm done with my work, we'll get married when we go back. Baya smiled and the corners of her lips curled up. She looked at him gently and smoothed his brows with her thumb. You're always like this. Responsibility is everything to you. Because you feel that you owe me for losing your memory, you want to make it up to me. Gu Lingqing, I don't need it. Go and live the life you want. Don't be burdened by responsibility and memories. I can actually live a better life alone. Chapter 186. Gu Lingqing, let's let each other go, Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing pulled over and stopped the car. He was a little annoyed. You're the one who said we're going to get married, but you're the one who wants to let each other go. What do you want? Can I do whatever I want? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing was also impatient. He said firmly, yes, what do you want? Let's do it. Let's let each other go. Okay, he said straightforwardly. He looked ahead and started the car. Baya knew that what he said was true. However, she didn't regret it because she saw him frown. He said that he would marry her, but he didn't mean it. So be it. Gu Lingqing sent her to the train station and watched her walk in. His eyes were as dark as ink. He took out a cigarette from the storage box, lit it, took a deep breath and exhaled thick smoke. The smoke enchanted his strong facial features. Half an hour later, he made a call to Lieutenant Colonel Song. Go to the Psychology Institute and issue an official document. I need a psychologist to test the psychological quality of the soldiers, to the extent of the darkness of the soldiers' psychology, and specify that I want Baya. Okay, I'll go to the relevant departments to communicate the agreement now. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone, threw the phone into the passenger seat, and drove away from the train station. After Baya returned to City A, she wanted to have a good sleep in the hotel, but Lu Shuang called. Baya, when will you come back? I miss you so much. Baya smiled. I think we really have a telepathic connection. I just returned to City A and stayed in the hotel. That's great. Let's have dinner together tonight. Let me tell you, the man on the blind date last time was also unreliable. He dumped me again. Tell me, am I so bad? No one wants to date me? Lu Shuang was a little depressed. I'll treat you tonight. Let's go to the U mansion that we used to go to. That U manor has been closed for 2 years. Oh really? For some reason Baya felt a little sad when she heard this. She remembered that the fish mansion's business was very good. The boss was very enthusiastic and the food was delicious. That's right. In the past 2 years, takeout has become the norm. Many people order at home. His apartment is so big and the rent is too high. He can't do it anymore. I know a good restaurant in a scenic area. There's even a 4A women's club there. I wanted to go, but I didn't want to be alone. You can accompany me. It's my treat. Lu Shuang explained. A women's club? Baya thought of Su Shaoling. The men there are not clean. Don't touch them. Am I stupid? Spending money to find a man? It's not like I have too much money to spend. I'm just going there to broaden my horizons. Going to a spa or something isn't a problem. Okay, I live in a Sheraton near a university. Call me when you arrive. Half an hour later, Lu Shuang arrived. Baya was quite surprised. It takes an hour to get here from the military. You're too fast. Tiger is not at home. There's not much work. I'm on leave tomorrow, so I came out earlier today. When I called you, you were already driving. Let's go. I'll take you to eat fish. Lu Shuang said with a smile. Baya got into Lu Shuang's car and fastened her seat belt. What's the Mu Shaoxing you mentioned? Lu Shuang asked. He's very charming. He's like a wild crane and has many women who like him. He's a vagabond who had a short marriage. He's probably a good bachelor who won't settle down until he's 40. What's wrong? Don't tell me you're interested in him. Baya was worried. She looked at Lu Shuang. I'm in a hurry. If it was 4 years ago, I would be young and invincible. But now I'm almost 30. I'm not in a hurry, but my parents are. Every time I go home, I have to listen to their nagging. I'm so tired of eating. Lu Shuang sighed. You're only 27 this year. There's still 3 years before you're 30. Don't be in a hurry. Baya suggested. I wasn't in a hurry before. I wanted to find someone, date for 2 years, get married and settle down. But, according to the number of times I've been dumped, I think I'll still be single when I'm 30. What kind of women do men like nowadays? I'm speechless. Lu Shuang was annoyed. I think they would like someone like you. You're bright and cheerful. You're generous, filial, kind and have a good figure. Plus you're beautiful. You shouldn't be single. Baya was also curious. Right? I'm also financially independent. I don't need men's money. I can pay for the house with them. Those men are blind. Lu Shuang shrugged. I'll go on a blind date show. I'll cast my net and catch the fish. There will be. Oh, I think I saw Xianxia last time. He was at the place where you attended the blind date show. Baya couldn't remember clearly. What was he doing here? Did he have nothing better to do than flirt with the girls in the military? Lu Shuang was unhappy when he mentioned him. Did you guys keep in touch after last time? Baya asked casually. What's there to keep in touch with? My first time was ruined by him. He was reckless and almost killed me. If I didn't know he was also drugged, I wouldn't have let him go. If I were still a virgin, I might be worth more money. Don't talk about him. It's annoying. Lu Shuang sped up. Half an hour later, they arrived at the hotel in the scenic area. When they arrived, it was already past dinner time. The hotel didn't have supper, so it was closed. Let's go. There's food in the women's club. Lu Shuang pulled Baya over. Only members could enter the women's club. While Lu Shuang was working, Baya went to the washroom. Have you heard? That Tony is already dead. His body was split into 8 pieces. The murderer is very vicious. He even cut off his penis and stuffed it into his mouth. Then he threw it into the public toilet, a woman said. That's horrible. What a pity. Tony is good looking and has a good figure. I heard that his skills are excellent too. Only diamond members can use them, another woman said. Do you know Mu Xiaoxing? Baya was about to leave, but when she heard Mu Xiaoxing's name, she looked at the woman who spoke. He said that Tony's woman might be the murderer. Before the murderer could be brought to the police station, he was taken away by someone. I was there when he was taken away. Baya frowned. The Mu Xiaoxing you're talking about, is he the psychologist Mu Xiaoxing? Yes. A diamond member must be someone important. Moreover, the information of diamond members is hidden. I think he's in trouble this time. Baya quickly called Gu Lingqing. She knew those people's methods too well. Mu Xiaoxing had offended someone. Gu Lingqing answered the phone and said in a strange tone, You're not going to let yourself go so soon. Chapter 187. She had an impulse to hang up the phone. She was silent for a while. Among the people she knew, the most powerful one was Gu Lingqing. Only Gu Lingqing could help her. Mu Xiaoxing was kind to her and helped her when she was in a desperate situation. With this kindness, she should try her best to save him. I need your help with something, Baya said in a low voice. She was a little embarrassed. Well, tell me. What's the matter? Gu Lingqing sounded nice. I heard that Mu Xiaoxing was taken away by someone. Mu Xiaoxing is the director of the Psychological Research Institute. Can you let him out? You don't know who took him away? Gu Lingqing asked back. In a women's club, a man named Tony was killed. Then Mu Xiaoxing said that it might have been done by the person who called for Tony last. He was taken away. Tony's level is very high. Only diamond members can call for him. I suspect that it was the diamond member who took Mu Xiaoxing away. I'm worried that they will harm Mu Xiaoxing. Baya briefly explained the situation. I see. Where are you now? Baya didn't want to say where she was. What's wrong? I asked the director of City A to come and cooperate with you. Go to the women's club and find out the information of the diamond member. I've intervened. They won't dare to not let him go, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Oh, I'm with Qingfeng Shulai. Baya's voice became lower. Gu Lingqing paused and asked in a very bad tone, You went to the women's club? Baya, when I want you, you say no, but when I find a stranger, you want me. Is it that I can't satisfy you? Or have you learned to be cheap? Do you know they are not clean? Gu Lingqing was so angry that his words became more and more unpleasant. Baya was very thin-skinned. It's not what you think. I came here to accompany Lu Shuang. I didn't say I wanted to do that. I just came here to sing. There are so many places to sing. Do you want to go to those places to sing? Gu Lingqing said sharply. I told you I'm here to accompany Lu Shuang. Baya frowned. Your feet are on your body. If you don't want to go, who can force you? You are so eloquent. Lu Shuang actually doesn't have a mind of his own. If you don't want to go, he won't go. Gu Lingqing said affirmatively. Baya couldn't win against him, so he hung up the phone angrily. As soon as she hung up, she regretted it. She asked Gu Lingqing for help. She and Gu Lingqing were nothing. Why was she feeling guilty? However, she hung up the phone so suddenly. She was really worried that Gu Lingqing wouldn't help her. It was better to do it this way. She still called Gu Lingqing shamelessly. He was currently on a call. Her heart was in a mess. She sighed and waited for a minute. Then she called Gu Lingqing. I've arranged the people. They'll be there in an hour. Find a place and wait. Gu Lingqing said coolly. Baiya felt a warm feeling flowing in her heart. Although he was cold and hard to get along with, he was very capable. He arranged everything in a short while. Thank you. Baiya's tone softened. Don't just say it. I want the specifics. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He was still suppressing his anger. When you come back, I'll treat you to a meal. Baiya said quickly. Okay, that's all. I still have something to deal with here. Thank you. Baiya said politely. The word you was respectful and distant. It denied the intimate relationship between them. It made his temper rise. Baiya, you really don't learn your lesson. Baiya. Before she knew what was going on, he hung up the phone. Baiya, I've been looking for you for a long time. Who were you talking to? The line was busy. Lu Shuang complained as he walked over. He waved the card in his hand. I've already done it. I went inside just now. There's actually a self-service bar. Baiya hesitated. Gu Lingqing's warning was still ringing in her ears. If he knew that she went inside, he would probably go crazy again. What are you doing? I booked a private room to sing. We can eat while singing. Come on, baby. Lu Shuang put his arm around Baiya's shoulder. You didn't call their cattle, did you? Baiya was on guard. The cheapest is 3,000 yuan. It's a little expensive. I can't bear to pay for it. I'll accompany you today. You accompany me. Lu Shuang put his arm around her and went in. Baiya made up her mind and followed Lu Shuang in. Anyway, she was magnanimous. It was fine as long as she didn't do what Gu Lingqing said. They went inside. In the form of a buffet, there was a variety of dishes and everything was available. Lu Shuang's eyes were sparkling. Then she wouldn't stand on ceremony. Her stomach was already growling with hunger. They went into the private room to sing. Half an hour later, someone knocked on the door. Lu Shuang guessed that it was to promote the cattle. She opened the door. Indeed, outside the door, there were two men with gorgeous masks following behind the mommy. Beautiful lady, today is the lucky day of our restaurant. These two young men are a gift. I hope they can accompany you to have fun. The mommy said with a smile. A gift. Lu Shuang didn't want to take them at first, but since they were a gift, she didn't want them. Come in. Baiya. Didn't they say that they wouldn't find cattle? Cool girl, don't take them. They might have some illness. Baiya didn't say the word. It was too hurtful to her self-esteem. Don't worry, sister. We have a health certificate. We are all natural and safe, the man with the fox mask said. His voice sounded like he was quite young. We can sing and drink. Xiaobai, what do you want? Lu Shuang teased. Go and accompany her. I don't need it. Baiya rejected. The man with the fox mask sat on the right of Lu Shuang, while the man with the dragon vine mask sat on the left of Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang looked at the man with the dragon vine mask. Do you know how to sing? The man shook his head. No wonder it's a free gift. It's a defective product. Wearing a mask. Do I look ugly? Lu Shuang asked casually. The man with the dragon vine. Sister, we aren't ugly. It's just that because it's a gift, we can't show you how we look. We can accompany you to drink and sing. The one beside you doesn't like to talk and doesn't like to sing, the man explained. Lu Shuang looked at the man with curiosity. You don't even know how to sing. Your business must be bad. The man with the dragon vine. He lowered his head and whispered something in Lu Shuang's ear. Lu Shuang blushed and looked at him in surprise. The man with the corner of his mouth curled up. He looked quite charming and sexy as he poured red wine for Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang took it uncomfortably. He didn't dare to drink it and pulled Baiya out. Your Highness. The man with the fox mask shouted worriedly. Xianxia raised her hand and signaled him not to say anything. Chapter 188. There's no free lunch in the world. Maybe it's their marketing strategy. They say it's a free gift and when you can't stop, they'll start to charge you a service fee, Baiya guessed. I think so too. Why don't we drive them away? Lu Shuang and Baiya discussed. Baiya nodded. That's the best. Let's go back. Lu Shuang pushed the door open. You guys can leave. We don't need you anymore. Did we do something wrong? The man in the fox mask struggled. I think you talk too much, Lu Shuang said bluntly. Xianxia, who was wearing the soaring dragon mask, was straightforward. She stood up, tidied her clothes, nodded elegantly and walked out of the door. Seeing Xianxia leave, the man in the fox mask followed her immediately. Lu Shuang was relieved when he saw how straightforward they were. He picked up the wine glass and took a sip. The wine was good. Baiya's phone rang. She saw it was Gu Lingqing's call, so she picked it up immediately. Gu Lingqing heard the singing coming from the phone. "You went in?" Baiya was annoyed. She was too anxious and forgot to turn off the sound. "It's really just singing. Go to the door now. If you come in again, I promise I'll make one of you lose a leg," Gu Lingqing said angrily. "Got it? You know those people outside are my people. Don't try your luck," Gu Lingqing reminded her again. "Okay." Baiya hung up. "What's wrong?" Lu Shuang asked, puzzled. "I have something to do. I'm going out for a while. I won't be coming in. Why don't you come with me?" Baiya was worried about Lu Shuang. "I ordered a 3-hour ticket. If you order for 3 hours, you can get a free ticket for the whole night. I don't have to work tomorrow. I want to sing to my heart's content." Lu Shuang didn't want to leave. "It's too dangerous for you to be here alone." "What's so dangerous about it? I can't ask for more." I'm fine. You go ahead with your work. If you still want to sing, come to this room to find me." Lu Shuang pushed Baiya out. Baiya was very sorry. She had originally come to accompany Lu Shuang. She had not expected that something would happen to Mu Xiaoxing. "Call me if you need anything. I'll sing with you another day," Baiya promised. "Okay. You can leave now. No one will fight for the microphone with me. I can enjoy it all by myself." "Ah," Lu Shuang said straightforwardly. Her phone rang. It was a call from an unknown number. It was probably from the bureau chief. She picked it up. "Well, Ms. Baiya, I'm Zhang Donglai from the Public Security Department. Someone told us that if you didn't come out in 5 minutes, we would have to come in and look for you," Zhang Donglai said apologetically. "I'm already on my way out," Baiya explained. She guessed that the someone was referring to Gu Lingqing. She had already broken up with Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing was controlling her too much. She was not his girlfriend. She did not have the strength to complain. She felt that if this continued, she would not be able to escape from the cage he had created. She left the room in a hurry. She did not notice that someone was staring at her. "Your Highness, the girl has come out. We don't have to send her away, right?" the man in the fox mask asked. Xianxia curled her lips. "It seems like it's God's arrangement. When Lu Shuang finishes drinking, you can take her away." "Yes." Baiya arrived at the door. 2 police cars were there. One of them was a well-built middle-aged man. He was wearing a police uniform and looked very formidable. He took the initiative to extend his hand to Baiya and greeted her politely. "Hello, Zhang Donglai. What do you need me to do now?" "Hello, Baiya." Baiya greeted him and went straight to the point. "Go and find out who were the customers who ordered Tony yesterday. I want the specific information of the customers." "Okay, someone asked you to wait in the car. I think it will take 10 minutes. I will give it to you in 10 minutes, Zhang Donglai said. "Baiya." Zhang Donglai brought them to the club. A police officer opened the car door and gestured for Baiya to get in. She had a strange feeling in her heart. She sat in the back seat and looked out of the window anxiously. Her phone rang. It was a message from Lu Shuang. She opened it. "Xiaobai, I like a male bull. I'm going to play with him first. Don't look for him." Baiya was worried. She called Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang did not pick up the call. "Are you crazy? Which room are you in? Shuangyo, don't do something you will regret." Baiya sent the message anxiously. "Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I'm already an adult. I'm going to take a shower. My phone is off. Mwah. Don't disturb me. You should support me if you are my sister." Baiya could tell that it was Lu Shuang's tone. Although she did not agree with it, Lu Shuang was right. She was already an adult. She knew what she was talking about. If she were to forcefully bring Lu Shuang away, Lu Shuang would not be happy. She did not call him again. She was just worried. After Xianxia sent the message, she switched off Lu Shuang's phone and placed it on the bedside table. She looked coldly at Lu Shuang, who was unconscious on the bed. She actually came to look for a male bull. He had really given her freedom. He tore off his tie and threw it on the sofa. Then he unbuttoned his clothes. Lu Shuang frowned slightly. He felt so hot. It was so hot that it felt like there were many worms crawling on him. Uncomfortable. Xianxia's body covered Lu Shuang's and she pinched his chin. "You deserve it. You don't have any self-awareness at all as my woman." Lu Shuang slapped his hand away and opened her eyes. Her vision was very blurry and she could not see clearly. She fainted after drinking a glass of wine. She was dizzy. I'm thirsty. Water. Lu Shuang said with a whimper. Coming. Xinyan kissed her lips. Lu Shuang sucked hard. It was not enough to quench her thirst, but it was better than before. Xinyan's tongue was hurt by her sucking. She left. Lu Shuang was not satisfied. She hooked her arms around the back of his neck. Xinyan raised the corner of her mouth and took the initiative to touch her lips. She was like a baby. However, this could not calm down the boiling blood in her body. I feel uncomfortable. Lu Shuang looked at Xinyan pitifully. Can you wait for another 6 months? Xinyan said meaningfully. In 6 months he could reach the top of the world. He could also control his own marriage. No, I feel uncomfortable now. Lu Shuang pushed him away. She wanted to go to the bathroom to take a cold shower to cool down. He pulled her. She was limp and had no strength at all. She sat on the bed. Xinyan looked at her. Stop looking for a boyfriend. I'll marry you in the future. Lu Shuang saw his mouth moving. She seemed to have heard something, but she could not understand what it meant. The discomfort was getting worse. I want to go to the hospital. I'm going to die. Lu Shuang stood up. He carried her on his body and said wickedly, Can I help you treat it? She was in a daze for a few seconds. He placed her on the bed and his palm slid down the waist of her dress. Chapter 189. Lu Shuang didn't know what she wanted. The discomfort gradually subsided. After she was satisfied, she fell asleep. Xinyan looked at her blushing face with infatuation and moved her bangs aside. He had fallen in love with her 3 years ago. Since he had never given up, he wasn't going to give up. He would cut off as many peach blossoms as she had. She would either die alone or she would only have him. Baya got the information of the diamond member who called Tony last that day. When she saw the information, she admitted that she was a little absent-minded. Su Shaoling. The last one to call Tony was actually Su Shaoling. Then Mu Shaoxing should have been taken away by Su Zheng. The situation was more serious than she thought. If it was just an ordinary senior official, Gu Lingqing would just need to say a word. Su Zheng's rank was above Gu Lingqing's, and he was a popular candidate for the presidential election. It was not easy. Baya didn't dare to act rashly. She called Gu Lingqing. She heard a sound. Gu Lingqing picked up. Well, Gu Lingqing, I suspect that the person who took Mu Shaoxing away is Su Xiaoling's father, Su Zheng. What should we do next? Baya asked carefully. You said Tony Cool Breeze the women's club. I already guessed it was him. Don't worry, I have already dealt with it. Now Mu Shaoxing has been released. Don't interfere with what happens next. Mu Shaoxing will take full responsibility, Gu Lingqing said straightforwardly. Baya, you already know. Why did you ask Director Zhang to investigate with me? She didn't understand. I'm just guessing. It's always right to have a two-way guarantee. I'll ask someone to send you back now. Have a good sleep tonight. See you tomorrow. Gu Lingqing finished and hung up the phone without giving her a chance to speak. See you tomorrow? Would he be back tomorrow? They had agreed to let each other go. Now that she owed him a meal, she couldn't refuse. He said it casually, but the process of letting Mu Shaoxing out was full of danger. She should have. Baya went back. In order to have a good spirit tomorrow, she took the medicine and went to bed. In the morning she woke up naturally. When she opened her eyes, she saw Gu Lingqing sleeping beside her, facing her. His hand naturally rested on her waist. Baya was very surprised. Why are you here? Gu Lingqing didn't open his eyes. His Adam's apple bobbed. Sleep with me for a while more. She saw that he was really tired. When she talked to him yesterday, it was almost 9 o'clock. If he got on the train at 9 o'clock, it would be 4 o'clock when he arrived at City A. She did not speak or move. Initially, she didn't think that she would fall asleep. After all, she hadn't been sleeping well all this while and had to rely on medicine to maintain her sleep. However, unknowingly she fell asleep again. I don't know how long. As soon as Gu Lingqing moved, Baya woke up and opened his eyes. What time is it now? Gu Lingqing glanced at his phone. 12 o'clock. Baya, she collapsed and sat up. Let's go. I'll treat you to dinner. Gu Lingqing pressed her shoulders down on the bed. Before dinner, do something else first. Baya covered her mouth when she saw him kissing her on the lips. Gu Lingqing furrowed his brows. Baya, don't make me angry. I haven't brushed my teeth yet, Baya said gloomily. Gu Lingqing's gaze paused for a moment. He let go of her and walked into the washroom to brush his teeth and wash up. Baya also walked over. Just as she squeezed out the toothpaste, she saw Gu Lingqing walk into the glass enclosure and take a shower in front of her. Baya accidentally saw that he was already in a state where he was ready. She blushed and turned away. She brushed her teeth seriously, applied facial cleanser and washed her face. He was already standing behind her. He was only wrapped in a towel. He looked at her with a burning gaze. "Do you want to take a shower?" Baya looked into his deep eyes. She saw the desire in his eyes and felt a little flustered. Why did it go back to the past? She shook her head. "I've already taken a shower last night. I have to report to the Psychology Research Institute later. I've already skipped work in the morning." Gu Lingqing looked at her quietly. His eyes were tinged with anger. "Aren't you a non-staff member? Mu Xiaoxing said that you don't have to go to work. You're free to move around." Baya. How did he know everything? She felt like she had shot herself in the foot. "You're not willing?" Gu Lingqing read her mind. Baya lowered her head. Her eyes flickered. "I'm hungry. I didn't eat lunch yesterday. I didn't eat much for dinner. I didn't eat anything for breakfast today. My stomach is hurting from hunger." "Yeah, I was careless. I'll go eat first. Help me wash my clothes. Is that okay?" Gu Lingqing asked. Baya took a look. Specifically, he was talking about the underwear. The outerwear should be dry cleaned. For some strange reason, she nodded. Gu Lingqing smiled. He was satisfied with her answer and walked out of the washroom. Baya vented her anger. Only then did she realize that he had brought his luggage with him. "Don't you need to go to the military?" Baya asked in surprise. "I'll go back in a while. There are still many things to do in the military," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya quietly heaved a sigh of relief. He saw her reaction. He didn't say anything, but his gaze turned a little colder. He changed his clothes in front of her like an old married couple. Baya was a little embarrassed. She took her clothes and went to the washroom to change before coming out. They went to the nearby Water Moon International to find a restaurant to eat. She still remembered that 3 years ago they also came here to eat together. At that time, how good would it have been if they hadn't continued? "Do you want ice cream?" Gu Lingqing asked Baya. Baya smiled when she saw the ice cream shop. It was still the same ice cream shop. The owner didn't change. "Did you ask me for ice cream on our first date?" I said no. "You bought 3 and asked me to carry them for you. In the end, I ate the ice cream and you gave it to other kids." "That sounds like something I would do." Gu Lingqing didn't deny it. "You're two-faced?" Baya commented. "If that's the case, I should have liked you at that time," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya paused for a moment. She looked at Gu Lingqing and met his gaze. Gu Lingqing sized her up. "You don't believe that I like you?" Baya didn't want to keep guessing with him. She wanted to be decisive and not waste each other's time. "Gu Lingqing, the person you like should be Zhou Hailan." Gu Lingqing was very calm. There was no change of expression on his face. She couldn't understand him and he couldn't understand her. "Baya, have you ever loved Su Jiran?" Gu Lingqing asked. "Our situation is different." "The result is the same, isn't it?" Gu Lingqing asked. Chapter 190. "She's dead," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice with no other expression on his indifferent face. Baya's eyes turned red. She had seen a lot of people with marriage problems. They got married because they loved each other, but in the trifles of life, their advantages became disadvantages. Because they cared too much about each other, they restricted each other's freedom. They quarreled with each other, hurt each other, and the accumulated conflicts consumed the stored feelings. In the end, they broke up and separated. The good ones parted on good terms. The normal ones were like strangers. There were also some who were like enemies. Because they used to love each other, they didn't want to remember. Even if it was a beautiful past, it would be regarded as a past mistake. Therefore, the living will never be able to fight against the dead who are not together. Zhou Hailan left the best impression on him. She was sunny, positive, beautiful, and cheerful. Zhou Hailan died because of him. In his heart, she was a cinnabar mole that could never be erased. And she had a lot of shortcomings. The more they got to know each other, the more he felt that Zhou Hailan was good. She didn't want to see them hate each other in the future. More importantly, she couldn't stand the fact that the man she loved had another woman in his heart. She would rather not love such a man. "Let's eat." Baya skipped the topic and walked into a French restaurant. Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was Lu Shuang's call and picked it up. "Little Bai, something happened to me," Lu Shuang said in a sobbing voice. Baya's heart tightened and she asked worriedly, "What's wrong?" Yesterday, Lu Shuang found it hard to speak. Where are you now? I'm in your hotel now. Let's talk when we meet. Okay, I'll come back now, Baiya said anxiously. She hung up and looked at Gu Lingqing. Something happened to Shuangniu, I have to go back immediately. I'll treat you another day. Baiya didn't wait for Gu Lingqing's reply. She grabbed her bag and ran out of the restaurant. Gu Lingqing watched Baiya leave. His eyes darkened. He took out his phone and deleted all the photos of Zhou Hailan. Baiya saw Lu Shuang in the lobby of the hotel. Lu Shuang's eyes were red, and she was still wearing the dress from yesterday. She was not in a good state of mind. Cool girl, what's wrong? Baiya asked worriedly. Xiao Bai, do you know what happened to me yesterday? Who took me away? Lu Shuang asked worriedly. You said you took a fancy to a male bull. He told me not to look for you. Baiya looked at Lu Shuang worriedly. What happened? I didn't fall in love with Lang Niu. I fell asleep unknowingly last night. When I woke up, I was lying in the hotel room. I was raped by someone. More importantly, that person took some bad pictures, Lu Shuang said with a pale face. Does the man look like in the video? No, the hotel also used my ID card to register. I wanted to check the CCTV, but the hotel staff said that their CCTV was broken yesterday. Lu Shuang was very upset. Although she looked very carefree and open-minded, she was still a little shy. In fact, she was very traditional. Otherwise, she wouldn't be alone until now. Let's go to the hospital for a checkup to make sure you are not sick. Then we can consider whether to call the police or not, Baiya said rationally. Let's go to a small hospital. I'm afraid of being recognized in a big hospital. Also, if we call the police, I feel very embarrassed. This kind of thing is easy to report. Lu Shuang was upset. Baiya also felt very guilty. If only she didn't leave Lu Shuang alone. Did that man leave the condom? Lu Shuang found it hard to say it. His face turned red. He used 7 condoms and I took 1. Aren't you working for the police now? See if you can get a fingerprint. Can't fingerprints be compared now? This needs to go through the procedures. I'm afraid I don't have that much power, but... Baiya paused. Power was a good thing. In front of power, procedures could be ignored. Gu Lingqing should be able to help. I'll try, Baiya said uncertainly. Then I'll leave it to you. Lu Shuang took out a sealed bag from his bag. When Baiya took the sealed bag, she was also quite embarrassed. She accompanied Lu Shuang to the private hospital for a checkup. Lu Shuang couldn't accompany her in the room. Baiya walked to the window at the end of the corridor, took out her phone and looked at Gu Lingqing's phone number. She just asked Gu Lingqing to help deal with Mu Xiaoxing's matter yesterday. Now she needed his help again. It was quite embarrassing. She cheekily dialed the number. The phone was turned off. She guessed that he might be busy, so she sent a message to Gu Lingqing. I have something to talk to you about. Can you call me back when you are free? She put the phone in her bag and waited for Lu Shuang at the door for half an hour. Lu Shuang took the test report. There's no problem, right? Baiya asked worriedly. Lu Shuang shook his head. No, he used a condom. But the more I think about it, the angrier I get. Is that person a pervert? He's doing bad things on video. He's crazy. If he wasn't crazy, he wouldn't have done such a thing. Baiya agreed. She put her arm around Lu Shuang's shoulder. Have you eaten? Lu Shuang shook his head. Let's go eat. When we find that person, I'll sue him and go to jail for the rest of my life. Let's talk about it when we catch him. It was already 16 o'clock in the afternoon when they finished eating. Baiya wanted to go to the research institute, and Lu Shuang followed her. When they came out of the elevator, they bumped into Su Xiaoling. Su Xiaoling was very surprised to see Baiya. Her face turned white, red, and green. Why are you here? My Xiaobai is now a special psychiatrist here. Is there a problem? Lu Shuang said proudly. Special psychiatrist. You changed your profession? Su Xiaoling's face looked even worse. Baiya smiled. She did not want to say much. Su Xiaoling's family background was too powerful. She did not want to provoke them. She pulled Lu Shuang away. Su Xiaoling looked at Baiya's back. Can we talk in private? Why do you want to talk in private? My Xiaobai's time is very precious. It's 10,000 an hour. Do you want to see a doctor? I'll give you an hour to see a doctor. Lu Shuang stood in front of Baiya and said, Okay, I'll give you 10,000 an hour. See a doctor. Su Xiaoling emphasized the last 2 words. Baiya frowned slightly. Follow me. Xiaobai, ignore her, Lu Shuang said worriedly. Even if I ignore her, it doesn't mean she won't pester me. It's better to leave. Wait for me in the reception room. There's a computer in the reception room. Baya said to Lu Shuang. Okay. Anyway, we're sisters. No matter what decision you make, I'll support you. Lu Shuang raised his fist to cheer. Baya entered the office and sat down. Su Shaoling threw her phone in front of Baya. You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.